The conviction of Cartel and his co-accused was quashed last week by the UK-based Privy Council. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Cartel, whose given name is Adidja Parma, and his co-convicts Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John were convicted in 2014 for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams in 2011. That conviction was quashed by the Privy Council on Thursday. The UK law lords argued that irregularities concerning the jury gave rise to a miscarriage of justice. During the 65-day trial, it emerged that one of the jurors, Livingston Kane, offered $500,000 to the jury foreman to influence the others to return a not guilty verdict. Kane was found guilty in December 2022 and sentenced to 9 months in prison in March last year. When the matter of the bribe was raised during the Cartel trial, the DPP, Paula Llewellyn, recommended to the judge, Justice Campbell, that the trial proceed. The DPP told Nationwide this morning on Monday that her decision then was based on experience.
I have done other cases where there has been jury tampering to the great negative of the prosecution. I have seen cases, I've seen jury inquiries where the juror having been questioned, it was quite clear that it was either an accused person or an accused person's relative that approached the juror, and the juror was able to indicate to the court that it did not make any difference. He would still be able to have an impartial situation in his mind. I have had the experience. I've prosecuted many cases, and when asked, I have indicated that we don't have any problem. So in other words, we are prepared to take our chances and just try to make sure that you have a very powerful address.
The DPP refused to be drawn on whether her recommendation was a bad one.
I'm not going to make any comments on that because there are a lot of things about that case, outside especially of what was happening, that we are not able to go into. And I am not going to go there. When everything is finished, everything, perhaps if I am persuaded, then we can go into some of the nuts and bolts of other things that were occurring that the judges would not have been aware of, that we on the ground were aware of.
The DPP has signaled her intention to seek a retrial of Cartel and his co-accused when the matter is brought back to the Court of Appeal.
Part of being DPP is that you have to have a thick skin and you have to be able to take the slings and arrows. Because in the final analysis, at the heart of everything going forward must be fairness to the accused. We have received directives from the Privy Council that the matter is to be heard in terms of the consideration of retrial. Once you have retrial, there are possibilities for possible trial or other things. That means in my head, I have to make sure that I say nothing that can add to pre-trial publicity and to do anything that can be a negative.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is in the final stage of drafting a recommendation for a crucial amendment to the Jury Act. That amendment would allow a judge to proceed with a bench trial where a jury has been tampered with.
We have it to track. We're just doing a little bit more research, and we should do it by the end of this week. And let me make it quite clear. It is a common situation where sometimes the defense bar do it with the Bar Association. We may, as we did with the Firearms Act the other day, the new Firearms Act, we saw certain gaps because we are the practitioners in court. And we saw that there needed to be more refinement in one or two areas. And we make recommendations to the Ministry of Justice indicating what we saw happening on the ground or in the trenches in court and why we believe we would need to have some amendment.
The DPP was speaking on Nationwide this morning on Monday. The proposed amendment will adopt the practice in England which allows the judge to continue without a jury where irregularities are discovered. The DPP says the recommendation will help to improve the administration of justice in Jamaica.
I have deliberately stayed away from making any public comment about the judgment, save and except in respect of that narrow area of law where the possibility of the amendment to the Jury Act to replicate Section 46 of the particular legislation, which was referred to by the Privy Council in their judgment, would, I believe, go a far way in enhancing the administration of justice in Jamaica.
Paul Llewellyn,